Hey guys, I'm going to be discussing option 2, which is about the role the media plays in the representation of women in American politics. The media, whether coming from the internet, television, newspaper, or radio, is such a powerful tool for communication that it increasingly has become difficult to actually control it. Even though we might want all the information coming from these sources to be positive, it sometimes is the opposite of that. When it comes to politics, whether most people know it or not, the media plays a crucial role in the outcome of elections. The candidates running for office themselves no longer are the only ones that influence voters with the information they broadcast of themselves or their ideas during debates. A determinant factor that is extremely significant when it comes to the perception that the general public has of a candidate is the media. The media, via the people who work for it as journalists or pundits, formulate their own opinion of candidates and broadcast it to the whole country. Are the portraits the media paints of candidates always 100% true? We all know the answer to that is of course not. Women running for public office are probably the most vulnerable when it comes to the way the media depicts their personal and public lives and their professional careers. The media uses issue stereotypes to, in a way, base their portrayals of women candidates and eventually obstruct women in political roles. In our country and around the world, there is an impression that is based on years of gender role expectations that helps to develop campaign issues that the general public and the media see as stronger for men than for women. And there are the issues which are seen as stronger for women as well. The Murray book describes how women are positively associated with issues such as childcare, healthcare, education, the environment, civil rights, and controlling government spending. Conversely, male candidates are associated with military spending, foreign trade, agriculture, and taxes. Thus, stereotypes of women are sometimes called compassion issues. This label is problematic to women because these types of issues tend to not be associated with the job of a president. Just as much as we think that negative media coverage of women affects the candidate in a bad way, there is evidence, which the Friedkin article suggests, that negative campaigning directed towards female candidates that is not relevant to any political issue is actually not taken seriously by voters because women are seen as probably being less likely to have provoked a negative attack. Another way the media is responsible for obstructing women's representation in politics is sexist coverage. Lawless and Fox describe how overt sexism in the political environment, which the media is largely responsible for, has actually been on the decline in electoral politics. But, unfortunately, Hillary Clinton's and Sarah Palin's experiences in the 2008 presidential election revitalized concerns that the political environment remains rife with gender bias. Our Murray book talks about how framing the media as being a central aspect of mediation, as news frames determine what is included, what is excluded, and what is seen as important and what is regarded as unimportant. Mediation is gendered when the news reflects sex-based norms and assumptions by, for instance, using masculine metaphors to describe political events, or by highlighting the sex or personal life of a political candidate despite its irrelevance to issues of the election. The media and the public actually ask female politicians how they are going to be able to balance being a mom and a politician at the same time, which of course is irrelevant for a male candidate to address ever. This sexist environment towards women in politics contributes to the gender gap in self-perceived qualifications and conclusively for the gender gap in political ambition. In the end, sexist media coverage is also responsible for creating a political culture in which a woman is not taken seriously at all. The most disturbing thing about the media and sexism is that it seems as if sexism is actually accepted in American culture. As Marie Coco states in her article, Like Hillary, Sarah Faces Media Sexism, more than 100 years of sexist media treatment of women political leaders is absolutely enough. A third way the media obstructs women's representation is how they are portrayed in non-political television shows, movies, and commercials. These actions of the media are what are truly responsible for how adolescent girls tie the political world to their own. Just because non-political television is essentially that, non-political oriented, doesn't mean that it's going to have zero effect on politics. Television shows, movies, and commercials are all guilty of sending the message to young girls that what is important is how they look and that their value and worth depends on that. women are portrayed as sex symbols in every type of media outlet. The cumulative effect of this is that women see themselves as degrading and consequently affects their ambition. Adolescent girls are concentrating on their physical appearance, not in succeeding in school, not in their future careers as adults, and definitely not on what's going on in their government. If women are going to enter politics as adults, it's going to be determined by what they experience as young girls. The decision to enter politics is not going to appear in their lives out of nowhere. Even though the media has come under such negative scrutiny over the last several decades, it isn't very difficult to think of positive influences they may have on increasing women's representation in politics. One way the media can help in advancing women's roles in politics is by shifting their marketing and media-driven images to hopefully change public perception of women. The media should be accountable for the negative ways they are affecting young girls' lives. Another way the media could help to increase women's representation in politics is to avoid using negative representations of women in politics, because it reinforces the socialization that deters women from entering politics in the first place. Depicting on television real women's issues and experiences would be instrumental to improving the image women have of themselves. These negative representations do not only affect adult women, but also young women as well. 3 rules that I would guide my candidate in following would be: first, to try to be herself and stop trying to be like her male counterparts in the political arena. The second rule would be to pay close attention to what the country's needs are at the moment. The third rule she would have to follow would be to look at past female candidates in our country and abroad that were in her position and lost, and actually try to study what they did wrong. That way, avoiding many mistakes. Thanks for watching, guys.